Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we begin, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a lot of things happening. Now, Deku, he has changed. He's decided it's time for his humanity to take a back step on his mind. Now, Izuku, he went out hunting with Shinso and Nejire. These three were trying to find more allies for the potential war that is going to be happening in this city. Deku, he's aware that he cannot take on All For One alone. All Might's out with Endeavor and Nagant, and he's gonna go see the Hero Committee. Meanwhile, while that's happening, there is his own group, which has had its own difficulties. People, they've talked. They're scared of Izuku. They don't know if they can trust him. Hell, Setsuna has known he's been alive for the last 3 days. I mean, she's had Hashi, heard about how Deku murdered the dam, and has come back. Now he's offering a way to change? I mean, it's all messed up. UA is safer now that Chizuki has been rebuilding it. I mean, fixing the building back to what they remember seeing on day zero, before even just hearing about it. But now they aren't sure. With Deku acting the way he is, he's not the same person. They're all afraid of him. And he decided to give them an offer when he found their little meeting after he met with some of his new associates. He told them quite simply he can give them an offer. If they do stay, they have the choice to remain human, or he can give them some of his blood. He needs people on his side, people he can trust. Along with that, he does want to make sure they all stay safe. He cares about all of them, even if they don't believe it. He even told Setsuna his concerns about Hashi and that curse he might suffer from. He might gain a quirk. His father was quirkless, but his mother was not. And that's a 50-50 chance. I mean, Deku, he had a quirk, but he likes to believe that that might not pass on. At least not that way. He gave her blood in a vial. If it does come down to it, bring Hashi back and he can take care of their son. It could be years from now or days from now. But he made her aware. If it does come down to it, come back to UA. And she was horrified. She doesn't want this idea in her mind to be true, to be real. I mean, no parent wants that for their child. And Izuku, he felt the exact same way. Their son, he could be in danger just by existing. And that was not a thought he wanted to give much of. Now, Deku, he started to think about a lot of things. He wanted to do a lot. He had a personal moment with Kami whenever he left that room. He met with his associates Ibara and Jotaro from Class 1B, who he found thanks to Shinso. He made an example to one of them and told them his situation, why he needs their help, and has made a deal with them. However, that deal with the devil that Ibara feels she made needs to have some backing. She does feel different and better. However, Jotaro, yeah, he's still having some trouble. Especially after Deku's warnings fell on deaf ears and he had to make another example. Now then, with that being said, let us currently cut to Izuku. Deku, he does currently have a lot going through his mind. He is worried. He does sit here. It's been 3 days. It's hard to say, but I mean, he doesn't know. He hasn't gotten any word back from Sir Night-Eye. He's concerned. If Sir Night-Eye doesn't find that letter, then their abilities might not work in tandem, might not be able to bounce off of each other to stay in contact. I mean, he's becoming more aggressive, putting this part of himself away that he's tried to hold on to. And it worries him. Currently, Deku sitting up in bed, thinking about a lot. Now, he does go to turn. Right now, him climbing out of bed and going to somewhat stretch. Bring his hand up before he does go to turn. Going to pull his shirt towards him. It flying at him as if to catch it. Looking to see Kami and Nejire still lying there asleep. Before he does go to get dressed and step out the door. Him going to step out and see Tamaki, who does go to talk about it. They've got a bit of a situation. It's too worthy for this shit. What's happening? Uh, well, everyone's trying to leave. But, the Horde? What about them? I told them to stay out of the way. No, the horde of people outside. People? Yeah, vehicles, stuff like that. There's a lot out there. Deku going to turn. Before he does, go to walk over to a window and go to open it up. Before he has a float out of it and then go to fly over. Currently, him standing at the front entrance of UA. Before he does go to float there in the air. And some people, they did a turn, pointing their weapons directly at him. Before Izuku, he does go to fly down. Some people staring at him. Before you to ask if he's him. Am I who? Are you Izuku Midoriya? I am. Why? So you're the one that came back? The one that's alive? Yes. Now who are you? You probably don't remember me. I've met you before briefly. Are you... Um, listen, I don't have a lot of time for this today. I've already got a lot going on, and you are blocking my front door. I've got people who are leaving. Yes, if possible, would you be willing to take us in? Take you in? You can't be serious. Listen, please. We're begging you. We've heard of you. You're different. I mean, creatures, they act differently around you. Please. You're alive. You're known. You're something to fear. We'll listen to you. We've heard about what people have said at the dam. Uh-huh. And what have they said? You're merciful. Listen, we just want somewhere safe. Really? Yes. Please take us in. How many of you are there? About 50. Please. I can make it worth your while. You know, I don't exactly eat the same stuff as you do. I don't need a weapon anymore. Also, I don't get sick. So what can you give me that would be good? Information. Please, please, just let us come in. Those creatures aren't hostile, are they? The man turning his head and seeing something that does go to lean over the wall. Before another creature, it does come a step forwards. A giant creature that looks as if it was made from a tree. And someone, they just stand right on its shoulder. Before they do, gonna sit down and lean on it. Bring their hand up, attaching their hand to the back of its head. And Ibarra, she as well as the massive golem she's created, does gonna bring its hands down to the wall. Before it is a lean forwards and be able to stare at her. Them seeing another infected, using their quirk. And Deku, he has a turn, telling her, "Stop. Are you sure? I count a few dozen of them. They say they have information. Could be useful. What type of information?" The Shadow Walker. Please. We can tell you about him. It's just something that you could know. I mean, it could work out for you. It could be very helpful. Shadow Walker. There's a lot of people out there. Please. We've tried to avoid them and stay hidden. We've had a lot of people attack us. Crazies, infected, other survivors. We were driven out of our home and we've been on the move. We just we lost someone to well, the ferocious ones. The ferocious ones. Uh, they pull you apart and make you that one of them. Use your parts. You mean a Night Stalker? Yes, yes. It's hunting us. We're desperate. Please, I beg you. I'll tell you everything I know if it will help you and can help us. The person falling to their knees. And someone, they do step forwards, trying to tell Izuku, right now there's a lot they can help with. This place is big, large, they can handle a lot of things. Work the land. Make this place an actual home for people. Bring more mouths in. Mouths to feed? Not like that. You need help with this place. The upkeep of it could be too much for one person. And I could help you out with that. I could shush. Listen, I appreciate your enthusiasm. But the next time you open your mouth, it better be something I want to hear. Not about how this would be a mutually beneficial agreement. Fine, fine. I know something you want to know. Shush. No, no, let him speak. Listen, we can tell you where some of those things are out there. We've heard other groups talk. People monitor, look out for them. We hide, we run. We've tried moving in, but do you know how hard it is to move in this city? I have an idea. Then you understand. We've been trying to hide from them. Stay out of their areas. I mean, the subway station has one of those things in there, and God, the stadium. Listen to me, please, and just understand. Get to the point. We might know where some of those other things are. That are like you. Do you? Are you lying to me? I'm not. Currently, someone walking up, and people do to see another person. Right now, him walking out and directly through some of the creatures, aware that he might be one of Izuku's. And he does a talk. Okay, how about this? He be honest. Can they do that? I can. I can. The man's voice going completely flat, completely devoid of emotion. What are you trying to tell us that you're so erratic about? I'm trying to tell you something that you want to hear. I'm trying to express all these things. Creatures, monsters, beasts, uh, all of them that are out there. The 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 mist that I've seen, the people that I've seen die by the monsters of your kind. They're not my kind. I don't know what you are. Simple. I'm a little more advanced. That's it. Now, get to the damn point. We've seen monsters out there, more organized. The Shadow Walker, he works with another one, another creature. They hunt crazies, hunt down people, and they do what they can, work with others. I've seen the bunny. Go back to that. Where have you seen her? Towards the center of the city. Not sure. Maybe the junkyard? I've seen another creature there. It's quite possible. Hmm. Okay. We can check the junkyard. Are you lying to me about anything? We are not. You hesitated. Is there something that you want to tell me? We've brought food for you. Something that you might enjoy. We we're hoping it would be a bit of a bargaining. Deku turning, looking at the man who was so eager to try and speak with them. The one who was being the voice of the group. And Deku, he does ask him exactly what that man's talking about. Deku turning and telling Shinso to let him speak freely. Him releasing control as the man he does start to look around, confused and getting erratic, before he does go to pull a weapon and aim it at Shinso, yelling about how that fucking thing was in his mind. And Deku, he does pull the gun out of the air, before he does go to send it flying backwards and into the man's chest, hitting him in the stomach before he has a talk about it. Is anyone else? Anyone at all? The next person who speaks out of line or who does not listen is going to get, well, they're going to become the next example. I'll make it quite simple. The next person who steps out of line, he's going to feed that man's heart to them, personally. So, if they're all done with their outburst, now would be the time to leave. Those who stay will be here at UA. They will do their own thing. He'll have rules, and that will be simple. Do they understand? The man nodding his head. Before the man on the ground, he has to climb to his feet, turning and walking over to an RV. Before he has to rip the door open and step inside. Deku hearing someone struggle, someone fight against it and trying to get away. Before Izuku, he does get to see a girl, someone around his age. Inibara, her eyes get a little bit more surprised as the girl is thrown to the ground and her arms are tied behind her back. And the man does talk about it. They found this one before. She was a part of the group that fucking got into their shit. A little thieving bitch. Nibara, she has to look down before her golem is to bring its arm up and lower her to that level. Walking over as Yui, she has a look up, a scar on her face and her hair short. As she has a look at Ibara and her eyes go wide. And this, it does alarm her. Ibara bending down and talking about it. Well, this is a bit of a blast from the past. Uh, you're alive? Of course I'm alive. A little different. Gotta say, I would have thought you left the city. A few of us did. I had to come back. We couldn't last out there after the first winter. Oh, we barely made it. I've been doing what I can to get by. So you're a thief. I am not a thief. They stole, I went to get it back. That's all. You know her? I do. Not well, but I do. Yui. Her bring her hand up and bring it to her neck, talking about it. This could be very interesting. She's not infected. That's good. She's not one of the zombies. Her turning, asking Izuku if he thinks that she could be a good candidate. Really. Him stepping forwards. Before he does go to use his abilities, in his eyes, they do to flash purple. Right now her bindings immediately being shredded off of her wrist. And she has to stand there with her arms right now forwards, grabbing her blade and then trying to bring it up, trying to stab Ibara up in the ribs. Right now her throwing her hand down as she does go to stop the blade. And Ibara does talk about that. She wouldn't recommend trying that. At least not again. Shit. What are you gonna do? Eat me? I'm already fucked, aren't I? Not necessarily. You see, that's Zuko. He's looking for people willing to join. A nice little club. Do you want power back? I. Fuck off. I'm not doing that. I'm not turning. I'd rather die human. Good. Her going to snap Yui's wrist, before she has a fully stand. Right now, her bring her hand up as a branch does begin to sprout from her hand. Right now, her going to bring it up and directly to Yui's mouth. Talking about it. She can make this simple or slow. Either way, it will hurt. And I have one. There is Dirty Bara. As Ibara, she does go to have the branch begin to move back into her arm. It sprouting seeds directly into her palm. As she's to throw them down, and Yui, she's to have them land on her skin. Before they do begin to dig inside, and she's begin to feel them sprout. Her falling forward onto the ground as Deku does a turn, watching on. And there is Shinso, who does a stir as well. People remaining fixed in place as Yui does begin to scream. Her going to yell out in pain. Before Ibara does snap her fingers. And the creature, it does begin to stand. The plants covering Yui's body beginning to walk her directly into Yue. And she has a turn, talking about it. Well, looks like they already do have something prepared for a meal. She'll handle preparations. Afterwards, what should they do? All of you get settled in. I want information. If you know where any other creatures are, tell me. Anything interesting I should know about in the city. I want to know everything you know. If there's any other unique zombies. Like me, like her, and like my friend. Now, you're free to come inside, though remember my rules. I'll talk to you later and tell one of you. Afterwards, I hope you all follow them. And if you do try to approach the school, know this. Right now, Deku turning, snapping his fingers as two Night Stalkers do to jump onto the wall. Them going to sit there with their tendrils ready. Deku expressing. He does have his own little security. And these ones? They're his to command. He sees everything they see. So, that will be that. Turning and walking away. Telling them to move their shit quickly, since he doesn't have a lot of time. Now, he has to head back to UA, walking up to the building and seeing that the vehicles, they are packed. And Setsuna, she currently does have a lot going through her mind. Thinking about what to do, how to handle everything. Right now, her going to turn, walking over and grabbing the baby carrier given to her by Izuku. Her baby quietly sleeping inside, and she has to put it into a car, having a little bit of trouble getting it set up, and trying to make sure it is secure. Right now, someone telling her to just sit down. They can handle it. Thanks, Momo. Her going to walk over and get into the car, and she does think about this vial that was given to her. Her pulling it out and seeing the red liquid. Seeing all of it. I mean, it's a cure, if you do want to call it that, but it fixes them all wrong. You're not human anymore, but you're something else. It's a new plague. And that's all it is. It's not a fucking cure. She wants to toss it, but she can't. It could be anything that keeps her son alive. A literal lifeline. And that idea, it destroys her on the inside. If she does have to come back to UA, then it might just end. That would be it. It's a thought she doesn't like. And we do have Todoroki. Todoroki, he does have a lot currently going through his mind. The vehicles are packed. Deku let them stay here for a few more days. At least it was till it was safe to move Setsuna. I mean, she should be okay. They're taking antibiotics, medicine, the bunker's got food, and they've got weapons. It's a good idea. Going off the assumption that Bakugo is out there with Kendo somewhere, the bunker would be a good safe place. But if they've heard the news by now, I mean, if anything can get out of the city, then they probably know. They weren't that far ahead, so they probably saw the fire. They've probably heard about the chaos of the dam. Jesus. They're heading to a place that they aren't even sure is safe. If they do see evidence of Bakugo and Kendo out there, they're gonna have to be careful. Then on Todoroki's mind. And currently, Deku, who is walking back up to the building, he can be seen. Before Todoroki does get a walk over. Him asking Deku if they can have a quick chat. What is it? You have a lot of quirks, right? I do. I've told you before, I've got a few. I know. You didn't seem surprised with Sir Eye. He can see the future, right? Do you know if it's safe for us to go out there at all? I mean, you've probably asked him, right, about her or anything at all? I haven't seen him. Oh, listen, I can get glimpses of the future. Can you? I can. I've been trying to figure it out the last couple of days. I I know you're worried. Yeah, yeah, I am. But it's not just about me. I mean, half these people I don't know, the other half I do. Can I trust them? I'd say yeah. You infected Kami. Hmm? Yeah, I did. Shit. So she's not just staying to stay, is she? She's not. Listen, Todoroki, there's gonna be a war. I don't blame you for running. You're just trying to survive. I know. Feels like the last time we talked like this was a long time ago. Yeah, if I remember right, you told me not to fuck your girlfriend. Yeah, I think I remember that. Listen, Todoroki, do me a favor and take care of her. Can you keep that promise? I can. I can. Though, I'm not sure how that might go. I can just promise to try. It's dangerous out there from what they're saying. Where we're headed's gonna be another city. It could have another hive. Listen, Todoroki, I know that's not your only issue. I've seen glimpses of the future, and I can tell you, Bako isn't there. They packed their bags and ran. They thought you'd come after them. Bako doesn't know who he shot. I know that. He doesn't? No. He knows that I sent something after him, too. You did? You sent something after him? I sent two creatures. They're far. I can feel them, but it's hard to see through their eyes. They're far away. Uh, Blurry, I guess? They're not at the bunker. I think they were there once, but I was ready to stock up and get back on the move. I think he's traveling the coast, trying to find a boat and seeing how that goes. He's trying to leave Japan? Wouldn't you? We don't know what's going on overseas, but it might be better. Who knows? Fair. I guess it's fair. But what else have you seen? Do you know anything about Yeah, I do. Todoroki, take care of Momo. Do what you can. Take care of Eri too. Listen, you're gonna be alright. She'll be okay. But we don't have Chizaki. If you do need to come back, I promise you and her are safe. You'll be a good dad. That's what I'm afraid of. I'm not just afraid of that, but just protecting them from this. I don't. I'm trying not to become you. I deserve that. Maybe you're not, but sooner or later you're gonna have to do some things you're not comfortable with. Keep that in mind. You're protecting what you love. Do you want to lose it? No. Good. So you better be ready to kill that motherfucker. Kill who? I've said too much. Kill who? Deku bringing his hand up, telling Todoroki to just get to his car and leave. And he does get a turn, worried about what Deku said, trying to prepare himself. It it sounds bad, but who's he gotta shoot? Who's he gonna kill to keep his family alive? He's running. He's running from this city. Try and send a communication out to his dad one last time. Head to the bunker, maybe? No, no. They can come back after things have settled down, however long that might take. He can get them there set up, and then head out to the bunker to see his father. Tell him the news and the situation. They've got a lot to handle. And the vehicle, it is packed. And Izuku does get to watch the two vehicles drive away, watching them leave through the gates as they do their turn. Todoroki going to drive fast and quick. Since this, it is going to take a lot of time today, and they may not be back in the city until tomorrow. At least he might not be. Now, Deku does stand there, and right now, he does go to have Kimi walk up, her asking if he's okay. No, just don't worry about it. There's a lot we need to do. A lot more we need to find out. Him turning. And Inosa, he does go to walk up, along with Shindo. And the two talk about it. So, exactly what's going to happen then? With them? Do you want to turn? It's an idea. Though, is it worth it? I think so. Both of them looking at Kimi. And she does try to talk about it. She feels better. It's fine. She feels relaxed. Good. She feels good. And Deku, here's a turn. Right now, him getting a flash. And he does go to see something. Currently watching as the future, it has changed. He hears a gunshot. He hears a baby crying. And he does go to see a city. One that's even in more ruins than before. Through his eyes, they did a flashback, showing slash marks on a wall and a creature. One Deku can't see too well, though it does charge him quickly. And Izuku, he does talk about it. He's gonna go out. He's gotta do some hunting. Do they want to be infected now or later? If they want to be infected now, he'll just spray them. But if it's later, then he suggests getting piss drunk now. You serious? I am. Tomorrow morning you'll be new. Different. That's why I'm saying it. Are you listening? Yeah, we are. I'll go look through what we have left. I know it's a turning. Talking about it. He'll do a few other things first. I'm gonna leave. And Deku, he has a turn directly to Kimi, telling her he's gotta go. He's gonna go find this bunny he's heard so much about. Afterwards, he's gonna go check on something. You do? Yeah, it's a bit of a precaution. It's probably gonna take me all day. Okay. We're stepping forwards. Bring our hands around Deku before talking about it. And she'll be here for him later. Or, well, if he does want to talk a little bit more, I'll be fine. Listen, while I'm gone, I want you to keep an eye out on people. Maybe test out your abilities a bit more. Get used to how they feel now. Things are going to get worse pretty soon. And when they do, it's going to be war. This place is ours. We're taking it back. I got it. I got it. Now Deku bringing his hands up, quickly giving her a hug. And he does a turn, not saying a word as he does a leap up into the air, before he does a fly off. And some people do get to see that Deku does move through the air rather fast. As she's a turn, we're now seeing Ibara, who does comment on a few different things, since she does want to know what she can do now as well, and if the two can possibly chat. She'd like to know more about what happened through Japan, especially since she is a traveler. Isn't that right? Yep. All the way from Shigechi. That's a long drive. It is. It was. I'd rather not talk about it, alright? Fine. Though, if you'd want, we can practice. I know someone just brought us lunch earlier. It should be quite fresh. Deal. Though, I'm not gonna go easy on you. I never said I was gonna go easy on you. The two going to move quickly, since they do need to find a nice open spot for their sparring match. And Izuku, he is currently flying over the city, trying to find Mirako, the former rabbit hero. Now, let us currently cut over to the committee's bunker. The committee, whenever All Might first arrived, they were quite alarmed. Whenever they sent Endeavor out, they were expecting him to come back. However, he didn't come back the same day. They had their own concerns, and while they were trying to get their personnel to keep things under control with the amount of people here, that was a little bit more difficult. Some people were giving pushback. They were talking about how everything has sort of been. There was even people talking about what has happened on the outside, the things they've heard, and how, with the amount of times the ground has shaken, this place does not feel safe anymore. There are those concerned about leaving, those concerned about staying, those concerned about who's in charge, and how things are being ran. Every day, more and more things are happening. They've had to deal with security cracking down on claims of people possibly being crazies, cannibals, or even turning due to infection. Or even the instance they've had before where someone tried to use their abilities, gain control of them because they thought it could work, because they thought it was a possibility, and that ended up with an incident that was not good for anybody involved. Now, whenever they saw All Might, they were quite surprised. He was brought into the bunker with Endeavor and a lot of people with heavily armed weaponry. However, Endeavor gave a report about what he knows about the situation. He found All Might at Yue, and he spoke to Izuku, he learned that this young man, he is one of the infected. However, the virus or whatever it is, the infection in his body, it works differently. It's unlike anything he's seen before. He has powers. He has multiple. He can command these creatures and with his own blood change them into what he is. It's entirely new. Something that the committee, they don't have a lot of data on. And with the amount of information they do currently have, it means quite a lot. And there is the idea one person is having. Take some of All Might's blood and see how it works on a regular person. There's even where someone, they want to see exactly what's going on inside All Might's bloodstream. How this infection has changed him from the savage creature he was on day zero into the man standing in front of them with calm, rational reason. Clearly, it's got to do something with his mind, right? The way it was affected by everything. It's got them puzzled. They need more information. And currently, the three committee members, they are talking about it, going over a bit. One is concerned. It's not public knowledge at the moment that they have All Might. It's not known to a lot of people. If the symbol of peace walks into this bunker, people are going to look to him to save them. And that is going to be an issue. There's already the fact that people, they are questioning every time they do something. If they can't give any information about the situation to calm the chaos, they could be in trouble. They're outnumbered. That is quite apparent. People have weapons. They have guns. The gun can win. But then there's that problem. Exactly how will that work? They don't want to keep people here enslaved to do what they do. Live here underground, work the farms, deal with the animals they have down here, and, well, rationing food the way they do. They're not running a labor camp. They're trying to keep these people safe and alive. And the more restrictions they put on this, the more chaos they feel like they might be under. It's not going too well. They need to come out with it. They've kept it under wraps for days. And the data that the scientists have given them has told them quite a bit. It's strange, but it's also interesting. The more you look at the infection, the more you start to rationalize it, the more you start to understand it. It pushes the body to the extreme. That's what the day zero infection did. But this new variant, this other infection, it's not doing that. It's almost like the way the human body worked originally. It's taking your cells and rejuvenating them. It's literally fixing the damage a quirk caused. But the improvements, it's keeping. They're talking about an infection that is not only boosting your abilities, but it's increasing the limit of your body. And that is interesting for the community to hear. Since the other data they have, it does come as a bit of a shock. Your cells are rejuvenating faster than they can be killed. You can heal from lethal injuries. You can't die like a normal person anymore. In a sense, this is immortality. And that data, it does have them concerned. They already saw the idea of the infection is interesting. Use it and find ways to apply it to them to better the world. Try and fix Japan, then look outward to other countries if they can, if possible. Fix this problem they're dealing with. And the scientists in the lab, they do try to talk about it. There's still a lot of unknown data. They're getting data from a watered down source of the infection, not patient zero of this infection. And the committee, they do hear this. It's an interesting idea. Actually bring him in and get a real sample of his blood, not just someone who has been exposed to it. And All Might, he does try to tell them all exactly why they can't do that. The committee needs to understand. He does still have his powers. Right now, they need to all step down. This place, it's a community of people. They are putting a wedge between people and those in charge. He can already tell from how all of them are acting, they don't care. And the committee members, they do hear about this. All Might is told a few simple things. They'll have a discussion about all this, talk more about it, and do more when they can. And we do currently cut to Endeavor's room, where Endeavor, he does currently sit in a chair, a drink in his hand, and trying to think about a lot. Now, Endeavor, he is still trying to process everything. All Might's in the bunker, and the committee is hiding it. What else are they hiding? He already knows how the situation is. People question the committee. The committee doesn't like that. They try to keep control, but they've been slipping. They've been slipping on a lot of things. He is already well aware this can cause problems. People want a bit of a change, and they have been refusing that. Their law and order has begun to push that line. And Endeavor, he doesn't like it. It's all about survival now. Yes, he can rationalize and understand that part. But whenever people are being searched and jailed for no reason, for suspicions, not fact, that is another problem. He heard about a situation the other day. Someone was killed with a weapon, and they searched the lower levels until they found it. They tore apart people's homes until they found that weapon. And it wasn't even on that same damn floor. He doesn't know if he can do this. His boss has been pushing more and more. He's been trying to figure this all out, understand everything, and with them hiding All Might, the more secrets he figures out, the more concern he has for his family. Fuyumi and Natsuo are safe. But then that one creature out there, it had blue fire. It knew him? That is concerning. Can this infection bring back the dead? That's a little bit more insane. The idea that it could. If it can, then his son might be out there. That thing could be Dabi. It's a horrifying thought. He lost his son once and now he has to be the one to put him down. Jesus. This on his mind. An Endeavor, he does try to think. Before Nagant does come stepping in. Currently, her bring her hand up and going to start unbuckling the vest she is wearing before she does go to turn and toss it to the ground, before unbuckling the belt around her waist, turning and going to throw it on something that is hanging on the wall, talking about it. Okay, does he have another drink board? Chilled. Over there. The fridge. Good. Her walking over, opening it up and going to grab a chilled glass, before going to grab the bottle of scotch and pull the top off, before quickly pouring it in and taking a sip. Her going to walk over and sit down with Endeavor. Her talking about it. She doesn't have a lot of time. It's been complicated and she's got to go over a report for an incident about today. What happened? It's a long story, but suffice it to say, there's been more issues. We've already had, what, 20 people leave? And they've been heading back to the city. 5, they're talking about it and processing all that paperwork and the incidents and blah, blah, blah. I'd really rather not talk about work right now. I can understand. The committee have been trying to talk with me about a few things. Have they? Yes, they have. Someone's. Well, it's complicated. I don't know how to fully explain it. Is it about All Might? Yes, it is. Not just that. They want to set up a meeting with somebody, see more about it, and go forward from there. I don't know much, but from what I do understand, there's also going to be another issue. Okay, so before I do get to that paperwork, would you want to, you know, Endeavor looking at her before he does go to someone's smirk, him going to start downing his drink, and Nagant just go to turn, setting hers down and going to stand, her going to walk over to Endeavor as they do start to embrace. Right now, them going to kiss, and Nagant doesn't hear a sound, turning and going to see as the phone on her belt, it does vibrate. Her letting out a sigh and walking over, grabbing the phone and going to flip it open, for bringing it up. Hello? Yeah? Yes. I understand. Her gonna turn, talking about it. She hates to do this and run, but she's gotta meet with someone from security. It's alright. I'm a little out of it myself. Pick it up later? Maybe. Her gonna turn, before going to grab the belt and leave, currently walking down the hall to the bunker. Before the person who called her, they do to turn the corner, expressing, bringing their hand up. Hey, just hear them out. I thought you were at the security room. Listen, listen. I was. Okay, we don't have a lot of time. The cameras are disconnected in this hallway. Why are they? Her reaching for her gun, and the person, they do to show their hands, as they just step out fully and show that their holster is empty. They're not armed. Why are the cameras off? Okay, Nagant, listen. The committee is up to something. I've heard rumors they want to murder Endeavor. Listen, just let me talk. You have 5 minutes. I'll only need 2. okay? That's how long it takes for the cameras to just reset. They want to murder Endeavor. They see him as a threat. Listen, Nagant, you have a lot of sway, a lot of pull, and you know the committee members, but they are hiding something from everyone. They're they're losing their minds. Haven't you noticed that some people go missing? That some people who leave the bunker, they don't leave right? There have been misfiled reports, and not correct counting. What are you talking about? I'm saying there's something happening down here. Nagant, no one down here is safe. The murder on the lower levels, there was more to that than you realize. I knew that person. All right? I knew Jimmy. Oh, okay, who are you? Listen, who I am does not matter. Right now, the committee are doing some fucked up shit. We think that they're experimenting. There's not much to go on, but talk to Edgeshot and talk to Aizawa. They might know more. They might be able to help you. And if not, well, listen to the committee's meeting tonight. Okay? Just them describing a location, talking about it. She'll want to head to the lower floors. Then, in their quote unquote private office, there is a vent in the wall. It echoes, and sound travels pretty well down here. She'd be surprised by what she could hear. Though that is just another thing. Them turning, pulling up the rest of their mask, before telling her. She needs to hear it for herself. She won't believe him otherwise. The person going to quickly move down the hallway, before Nagant does get a turn, chasing the person down and trying to catch them. However, when they turn the corner, they did a run into an elevator. Right now, Nagant turning the corner and going to catch up, slamming her hand into the door as it does a stop, opening up and revealing an entire team of security personnel. And everyone, they did a run, currently them splitting up and moving down the hallway. And Nagant does look around, trying to see where that person was. But the mask they're wearing, the gear they're wearing, fucking 5 people who just went running, that those were members of fucking security. Shit. Shit, shit, shit. Okay. So, damn it, this doesn't look good. 5 members of security personnel who are against the committee. Jesus. She can't track them all down. Put a head out like this? Shit. Okay, but there's what the guy said. They're gonna murder Endeavor? But why? Missing people, misfiled reports? That would explain all the paperwork. Why they have her in charge of the situation? Okay. But why would they misfile who's coming in and out? This on her mind. And right now her mind does still catch those words. They want to get rid of her husband. And that certainly is bad. Nagant, she has to follow the person's directions, heading down to the lower floors and then going to walk down the hallway, turning left, right, and then heading to the third door down, before they open it up and find an empty storage room. A few things here. Before she has to turn and close the door, Renault, a note on the back of it, talking about it. The vent on the wall, it connects to the same floor as the committee. And the echo from that room, it travels pretty well into this one. Destroy note. Her pulling it off the wall before she has to fold it carefully, turning and walking over, looking at a vent and going to hear something already, for bending down and putting her ear to it. hearing a conversation. And three members of the committee, they do currently sit there having a nice meal. A man going to put his knife down into a slice of meat, for shoving his fork in and beginning to cut, telling the other two, "It's quite interesting about what's happening as of late." Yes, you'd be correct. Though, should we go over this discussion again? Do you mean the best way to dispose of him? Highly unlikely. We're already talking about the subject a little too much. And as for our little rebellion that we've been trying to get rid of, that's another issue. Is it? Are you sure we can't just poison his alcohol, be done with it, send him out on another suicide mission? Well, we were already hoping the first time with this Midoriya boy, at least that's what the one man called him, that we would get him killed. The person bring a slice of beef up to their mouth before they chew into it and go to wait. The other two talking. We were expecting him to die. However, unfortunately, that does raise another problem. It's rational and can think. Wouldn't that be correct? Rational, I would not know. Thinking, certainly. If we are to continue with this idea, this could be a pretty good project. So you think that his blood could actually be a good part of the project? It's possible. Right now, we're still trying to find a way to control it. When that happens, then it could be possible. We give this thing a part of reason and logic. As for humanity, I'm not sure. We've already taken that one away. Certainly have, haven't we? Though I do definitely think that the creature, the thing is going to be well. Are you certain you want to talk about this? We've still been trying to find a way to enable a quirk to work within the creature. Through analyzing that one's DNA, we might have found a way to make it possible. Do you really want to give it a quirk? I don't know. If we do attempt this, it could be good. Though at this point we're trying to make a creature kill other creatures. That's not how nature works. It would only hunt prey. Still. All these hypotheticals. Why don't we just release it? Make sure that it can hunt down our rogue little faction. We don't even know who those members are. IDing many of them would be hard. An overwhelming task. That is true. There's also that Fuyumi girl. His daughter? Yes. She's heard a few things from some of the guards. And that has me concerned. She submitted a report, but then we were able to clear up the misunderstanding. That's good. Yes, but if we are going to deal with Endeavor, perhaps we should do a bit more of a push. How would we do that? Tell him his daughter left. Really? It would not be that hard to pull off. We kidnap her and, well, we hide her away. Then, whenever that does happen, we send him out there looking for her. Tell him that we don't know what happened, but it's also quite possible that the batch of people we send out tomorrow, that they may be involved with her kidnapping. That is an idea. He's already shown much concern for his family. Yes, it's all the fool will talk about, all he'll prattle on about. Him and Nagant certainly are close. It does appear that our former assassin might have a bit of an issue here. Personally connected? Too much so. We already knew it would be a bit more of a difficult task than before, believed. But apparently she broke through his armor. Yes, we wanted her to get close to the asset, not fuck him. Call it what you will. She'll bark. I'm sure she will. Though, as for many of the things, we'll have to pay someone. We'll need someone desperate. We'll pay them to take out the Todoroki girl, and once that's done, then we can move on. Hopefully, dispose of everything accordingly and continue on. That does sound like a plan. Nagant, angry. Her going to turn and go to walk over, ripping the door open and walking out of the room. Before she's to walk directly into the elevator and think about a lot of things. Her going to make her way down to the lower floor and then go to walk out of the elevator. People beginning to look around. And Nagant, she has to walk up to a door. Her pulling it open and then gonna step inside. Someone sitting there, as Nagant is to ask exactly if the committee, they have some time to meet with her today. Miss Nagant, I'm sorry, the committee, they're in a very busy meeting. You'll have to come back. The person looking up from the computer. Nagant with a gun in her hand as she's to pull the trigger. Her turning and going to walk over. The committee hearing that shot from outside. Nagant going to kick open the door and step in, turning and seeing the members who are all sitting down to a very fancy dinner. And Nagant immediately does gonna pull back the hammer and fire the revolver. A bullet flying into the center chest of a committee member. Currently, them scooting backwards in their chair and finding it hard to breathe. For Nagant is a turn. The committee member standing up and expressing to her, what exactly is this about? Her gonna walk over. Before she does, gonna fire into the person's leg, and the third member of the committee, they do get a turn, trying to run. Her going to turn the gun and fire into their leg, it ripping out and cutting in, for the person is to fall down and slide across the floor. Her walking over and going to slam the one who currently got shot in the knee into the ground. Before she does, go to pull the gun and fire into her back. Her letting out those two shots and then going to feel the gun click. Her going to turn and empty the revolver. For going to bring her hand into one of the belts or one of the pouches on her belt. Her going to open it. Hearing the person beginning to shout, yelling for security. And Nagant, she does go to turn. Currently, her making her way over to the door and then going to slam it closed. Before she does go to put in one bullet and then going to look down at the man. Him looking up at her before aiming the gun right into his head and pulling the trigger. The man falling to the ground as his brains due to spray across the concrete floor. And Nagant does just stand there. Right now her panting heavy. Her hyperventilating. In her mind, it is in complete overdrive. She lost it. She couldn't. Not Fuyumi, not Endeavor, not anyone, not fucking Natsuo. Even if him and her don't really get along that well. They could agree on a few things. They're not hurting this fucking family. And right now, Nagant does a turn, walking over to the food. Before she's looked at the man who does sit in the chair wheezing. Him bringing his hand up and trying to do something. However, his wound does get a bubble. Nagant staring at that. Or she does just go to sit down. Her going to bring her hands up onto the table. Thinking about what to do. Thinking about what to say. And thinking about how those security alarms, they're still going off. but that ringing in her ear is overwhelming. Those were loud, very, very loud. This on her mind. And currently, while security is making their way down to that room, we do have Deku. Deku was flying over the city, trying to find Mirako. And he does go to land. Him looking around and seeing a lot. Turning his head and seeing a car that has been thoroughly smashed into the road. Looking around and seeing that there is a lot of fibers that do get to sit there in the air. Some covered in blood. Some that do still sit. And Deku doesn't bring his hand up. Currently him grabbing one of the fibers and going to pull it back. Feeling it slice into his finger as he has to let it go. Watching that part of his finger fall to the ground as blood begins to spray down his hand. And Deku, he has a turn, whistling out and hearing that loud noise echo down the road, for walking directly into view. Turning his head and looking at a building, the wall of it covered in scratches. Before he does it, shout, Mirako! And this does it a carry, echoing down the road as some creatures, they do go to follow the noise, hearing it. And Izuku, he has a turn, hearing a sound and seeing something. Currently it hiding in the shadows. It nearby, aware and watching. Deku is walking down the road. Him making his way past one of the buses he has to see, passing by a flipped over car. Him walking under the bridge that does have a spider web with a truck and some, well, people in it. Deku does not care. He's not trying to hide. He's trying to be seen. And Izuku does a turn. Danger sense going off as something does come flying off of a building. It's going to crash down and stand. Him looking up and seeing her. The former hero Mirako. Quite surprising to see. And Deku doesn't see her in her torn hero outfit. Covered in blood. Covered in viscera. Fresh wounds. And the mutated limbs she does have. Since one of them, they don't look correct. And the other looks like it's not from her own body. She's almost been pulled apart, as if she was an action figure. You just undo the bonds, and then you put something in. You hear that clicking noise, and you know it's not going to fall off. She rewired those limbs onto her own body. And that's Deku's current running theory. Now, Mirako, she's a step out. Currently her arms a little too long and covered in sharpened claws. Her fingers not looking like bone. And Izuku, does she a slight gleam coming off of them? While Mirako's lips, they do stare at him, bare. And that look on her face, it does show one little thing. She is completely calm. She's not angry. She's excited to see him. And she's excited to try to kill him. Her grinning. At least that's what Deku thinks that face she's making is. And Deku does tell her. Right now, he's here with an offer. Him gonna step forwards, telling Mirako. He's heard a few things about her from Shinso. Aggressive, relentless, fighting everything she can get her hands on. Or claws. He really should be more specific. Though, he doesn't care. Right now he's here to recruit her. He wants to face off against her and test her. She doesn't care, does she? She wants a fight. He'll give her a fight. And if he wins, she's on his side. And Mirako doesn't move forwards. Her going to agree about how challenge is accepted. And Izuku, he does go to move forwards. Currently, him running at Mirako as she's going to move towards him. Her moving on her feet fast before she's going to go down on all fours and then go to move towards Deku. And the two, they do a clash. Right now, her slicing up into him and going to kick him away. And Izuku, he isn't flying. Currently, him smashing into the bridge and going to smash straight through the street. Him going to go to stop and hit the ground. And Izuku, he does a stand up, telling Mirako she should be lucky. He's more than powerful enough to do this. Before Deku, he does go to stand there, bring his feet apart, and going to throw his hands up. Before he does think. One for all is overkill. It really isn't needed. He'll use Fajin. He'll make sure that this is done fast. He'll try to. Though he'll amp it up in degree. He does need to get rid of some aggression himself. And Mirako, who's more than eager enough to fight, yeah, this might be exactly what the doctor ordered. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.